So good. Shout out to Sam and Sash who just got in touch with me saying this song is getting them in their feels. Me too, guys. Really, it is one of those really emotive songs, very atmospheric, very cinematic. That is Guernsey musician Charles Stenner there, and that track is called Torrents. We're absolutely loving this. It's our track of the week this week here on the BBC across the Channel Islands, playing this every single night on the show this week, also picking it up on Thursday. Don't forget, I will be in conversation with the man himself, Charles Stenner, on Thursday night after 6. Please don't fall and play. So lovely. That is Charles Stenner, also featuring production from Tall Acre as well. Both Guernsey lads that sort of reconnected in Canada. He spoke to me earlier today, and I'll be playing the interview out in full on tomorrow night's show. And also, not just that, he has sent us an exclusive live session of a very famous Disney song that he's covering for us, which I'll play on tomorrow's show. It's all happening. It's very exciting. Guernsey musician there, Charles Stenner, and his track Torrents, which is the BBC's Across the Channel Islands track of the week this week. Absolutely loving that one. Shout out to Jay and also Cass, who are loving that track. Yeah, completely. They say that it gives them beachy feels. Absolutely. I mean, it helps when we are, in the Channel Islands, but it really does sort of like encapsulate that time. I mean, when I first heard the track, it made me think about being at the beach, sort of a storm rolling in. It's super peaceful. Incredible. So we'll find out more about the lyricism and the production element of it. Also how his trip in Canada sort of inspired that track Torrents, which is BBC's track of the week this week. And we're playing it again tomorrow night.
Harry Barrett.
Across the Channel Islands.
It's time to speak to the man himself, the man who is behind this week's track of the week. We are absolutely loving it here on the BBC across the Channel Islands. I caught up earlier with Charles Stenner, Guernsey musician, who is the man behind this week's track of the week, featuring Tall Acre, if I can get my words out. It's called Torrents. I played it for you a little bit earlier. We're playing this every single night on the BBC across the Channel Islands. We're loving it here, and also on BBC Music Introducing as well on a Saturday night. I wanted to find out more about this track, how it sort of came about, and where the idea to create this brilliant track actually came from. I first asked Charles what it was like to have this track finally out in the world.
And then when you give it away to the world, all of a sudden everyone has their own experiences. It's nice to see. But it's cool to see that there's a coherence of that response. So.
Yeah, massively. There's big love for the track, basically. We're loving it here on the BBC across the Channel Islands. Also, BBC Introducing have been playing it as well. Been recommending them to play that this weekend. So it is the track of the week this week. We're playing it every single night on the show. We're loving it. Features Tall Acre as well.
Yeah, he's another Guernsey lad. I actually met him for the first time in Vancouver because I went out there on a bit of an adventure to Canada, and turns out the only other guy that I really knew in Vancouver was a musician who was formerly in Courage Have Courage, and I knew him distantly, but I reached out to him because why not? And then we got together and started writing a little bit, and he laid out that the initial chord sequence on the piano, and we were just kind of drawn to it. And I picked out the melody from just what he was playing, and that was kind of the birth of the idea.
I mean, it's pretty mental, isn't it? Fate has definitely got something to do with this. Two Guernsey lads in Vancouver making this incredible track. Did you have any sort of clear idea of a track you wanted to put out, or how did this sort of come about? I know you said it was fairly organic with Tall Acre, but what was that process actually like?
I think we quickly established that we share so many similar inspirations in artists, and having that background and kind of a joint well of just love of music, it tends to lead you in a good direction. So that was brilliant. But it's funny because we came up with the idea together in January 2019, but it it went to sleep for over 2 years. And then I found it on my laptop after COVID had hit and I had all this time on my hands. And revived it because I just thought there's got to be something in this. And it was meant to at the time we were talking about the song characterizing the storm being a metaphor for like turbulent mind and like turbulent turbulent world, and that seemed really appropriate when I happened upon it again in the midst of COVID because the chaos.
Yeah, when everyone's mind was whirring and we didn't know what we were doing. I mean, turbulent is definitely the right word to describe it, isn't it? I did read on your track notes for Torrents that you were sort of talking about the sense of a storm and also psychosis. I mean, it's so interesting because when you listen to the track, it's so inherently peaceful to listen to. It transports you to a place of calm. As you said before, it has this meditative quality. So it's really interesting, sort of the dynamic and dichotomy of, you know, a storm and psychosis and playing out something, you know, musically that's really peaceful.
Yeah. I think because the refrain, in terms of like the melodic ideas and this, that actual chorus, there's not much there, and it's recycled quite a lot in a way that's similar to like a siren song, or like it's got this incantatory, like as though you could hear it on the wind at sea, or like it was coming from a lighthouse or something amidst the storm, and there was a bit of peace in that. And I, with the music kind of rolling around it in like waves, but I think there's a danger in trying to read too much meaning into. I think if you think you understand your work too well, then you'll probably diminish it.
So fascinating to catch up with him, to actually meet him. We chatted earlier. That's Charles Stenner there, Guernsey musician behind this week's Track of the Week, featuring Tall Acre, who he created this track with in Canada, of all places. We'll hear more from Charles about his time in Canada, where this track came from, and also some of the influences and people he was listening to when it came to creating such a unique sound. We'll do that in a minute or two. First up, though, back to the music. This is Years and Years. It's called Starstruck. Earlier we heard from the man behind this week's Track of the Week. It's called Torrents. His name is Charles Stenner, Guernsey musician who created the track with the help of Ben Wilson, aka Tall Acre, both Guernsey lads who created this track in Canada, of all places. I wanted to find out more about Charles's time in Canada and how his travels actually helped his creativity, and, you know, how they created this track together. And not only that, what other artists were they listening to kind of get inspired?
Canada, without a doubt, was amazingly helpful in helping me become the musician I am now. I think I just had so much freedom to explore who I was and was becoming, and I was just loving life. I was really inspired by the people there and the majesty of the mountains, and everything's so pronounced. The trees are super tall. It was a little bit like being a kid again. And I found myself in all sorts of little projects, and yeah, I was energized by it all. So I think that fed into the music in weird and wonderful ways.
So who were the main sort of inspirations for your sound at the moment as Charles Stenner? What kind of artists were you listening to when you were creating this track?
Well, we both love Bon Iver and S. Carey. S. Carey being the drummer of his Force. So established that we were Bon Iver fanatics. And then there's Phoebe Bridgers as well. I think she has more dark, mystic, at least lyrical themes. So and actually Ben Wilson being Tall Acre. He He did a lot. He did a lot of legwork on with the lyrics. He really I think we were trying to be abstract, and he was really guiding the way lyrically. I remember in that session. So
do you have any favorite lyrics on this track?
I think the stone long throne image is really vivid to me, but again they are quite abstract, and they work in juxtaposition to each other, so it would be difficult to say. There's something there in it that speaks to me. I got into jazz quite a lot in Whistler because I played with a saxophonist, so I've ended up doing a lot of my favorite jazz soul influenced music.
So who would your dream collaborator be?
Dream collaborator, I think it would be Jacob Collier, because he's an idol of mine. I find him really inspiring. Bon Iver would be really cool. I think a funny way it would be nice to play with Alex Crossan, Muramasa, because of the Guernsey heritage. And we used to be in a metal band together, but we've both gone completely different ways.
What? So, I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's such a bizarre thing. So I think it would just be a funny, but obviously he's like astronomically famous now, and all of the stuff he produces is just really, really, really solid. So
that's so interesting. What was the metal band?
We were called So Cold the River.
Okay.
We got a little EP together, but I was just going off to uni at the time, and actually it was just as Alex was blowing up. So we still got demos kicking around, but we played a gig, but it wasn't a long.
So what does 2022? Really cool. What does 2022 then look like for you musically? What are you sort of focusing on?
I've got a lot of stuff that I've written and recorded that I'm really trying to push over the line now. I've got a bunch of singles that I'm going to release. I've set myself a lot of goals, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. When I take it too seriously, then I get paralyzed by it all, and it's funny because I just got to remember to enjoy it. I get quite obsessive about writing and releasing, and then I get in my own way. I got to remind myself to just chill out.
Chill out, man. That is the legendary Charles Stenner there, Guernsey musician, behind this week's track of the week, featuring Tall Acre. It's called Torrents. We played it a little bit earlier as well. We have an exclusive recorded live session from Charles, which I'll play for you after 7:30 tonight. So stay tuned with me. You're listening to me, Harry Barrett. It's the BBC across the Channel Islands. If you're a fan of Disney Pixar, you're going to love his cover. That is on the way. Plus, if you want to hear what Charles sounds like live, he's actually playing at the Golden Lion this weekend, so you can catch him Saturday 6 till 9 if you want to see what his set looks like.
Across the Channel Islands.
It is time. This is time to play a recorded live session from the man behind this week's track of the week, Charles Stenner. Also features the likes of Tall Acre on that track. It is called Torrents. It's the BBC across the Channel Islands track of the week this week, and we are absolutely loving it. I asked Charles Stenner to kind of give us a flavour of what he would sound like live. So he's recorded this really, really magnificent cover that I'm so excited to play for you. It is from, if you are fans of Pixar and Disney, if you're an animated film lover, you're going to absolutely love this. It's his own rendition, a special cover, acoustic, really laid back and chill. It's his version of the Randy Newman classic, You've Got a Friend in Me, and it's playing on the BBC across the Channel Islands now.
Got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looked tough ahead, and your miles from your last home bed, you just remember what your old man said, 'cause you got a friend in me. friend in me. You got a friend in me. I got trouble, you got 'em too. There isn't anything that I wouldn't do for you. We'll stick together and we'll see it through, 'cause you got a friend in me. Some other folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. Baby, me and you, girl. And as the years go by, friendship will never die. You come to see that it's our destiny, 'cause you got a friend in me.
I absolutely loved that. Guernsey musician Charles Stenner there. He is the man behind this week's track of the week, and that is his recorded live session of the iconic track by Randy Newman. You may know it from Toy Story. That is You've Got a Friend in Me. I caught up with him earlier today and asked him why he picked that one.
This was a suggestion of a great man called Bob Miller, who was my jazz partner in Canada. We were in this little duo. He plays the saxophone and I was playing some guitar, and we were just thinking we wanted to play have a selection of songs that just had that feel good vibe, and whilst you've got a friend is a kind of novelty song by its association to Toy Story, I thought the sentiment is still really beautiful, and actually it is a really beautiful song, and with a more stripped back arrangement it can evoke a completely different quality. So we went for it, and I enjoy playing it so much still, so I kept it.
No, it's honestly incredible. I love it. It's really chill, really laid back, and yeah, completely agree. It's nice to actually hear a cover and that song in a different way. Are you a big sort of animated fan then?
I've certainly got my ears open when I watch things, because the emotional impact of imagery is so often in the music, in artful writing. I'm by no means a cartoon fanatic, but yeah, I mean, I love that sort of stuff.
Such a legend. Absolute privilege having him on the show. It's the BBC Across the Channel Islands with me. You just heard there Charles Stenner. He is a Guernsey musician, the man behind this week's track of the week. And just before, if you missed it, go back to BBC Sounds just after 7:30 tonight. I just played a recorded live session from Charles Stenner, and it was his version of a beautiful track by Randy Newman, You've Got a Friend in Me. If you missed it, head to BBC Sounds. It was so good.